If we say someone is a photographer, someone is a videographer, this is someone who knows the science of working a camera to make very good videos. A storyteller is someone that actively tries to preserve a memory or even create a story out of nothing. That key element of storytelling is the icing on the cake. So basically what today's class is about is, since we already established from our last class that God himself is the creator, you understand, the first creative mind, and then he first thought to create, you understand. Now, how many of us realize that the earth as it is and everything God made is an entire story? The earth as it is and everything that God made is an entire story. So how you tell a creative story is by how intentional you are with the story. Now, when God was making man, God did not make man first and then he tried to make heaven and earth later on. So the man was just floating in the air. There's a certain system for which you tell stories, and it all depends on how intentional you are as a person. In one of the classes we had, I think that was last year, I spoke about one of the misconceptions that a lot of photographers, videographers, content creators, fashion designers have is that they just take pictures. They are just a videographer, they just make videos. They are just fashion designer, they just make clothes. Do you understand? But way beyond that is how you are able to craft a story with whatever you do. Now, I'm going to give different instances. There's a difference between a storyteller and a videographer. That is, a storyteller is someone that actively tries to preserve a memory or even create a story out of nothing. You understand? So what a storyteller is that he tries to put different elements together to make up a story, to form a narrative. While a videographer or a photographer is someone who is skilled in the act of making videos or taking pictures. Have we gotten that? Did we get that? Quick recap. I want you to listen for now. A storyteller is someone who is able to put different elements together to form a narrative in a creative way. While a photographer, videographer is someone who is skilled in the act of making videos, taking pictures. Do you understand? So now I'll tell you the difference. If we say someone is a photographer, someone is a videographer, this is someone who knows the science of working a camera to make very, very good videos. Do you understand? This is in no way to downgrade who a photographer or a videographer is, but then what we're saying is that in addition to what a photographer and a videographer, in addition to what they represent, there's a higher level to which a photographer and a videographer is meant to operate, which is as a storyteller. Do you understand? This simply implies that a lot of people are actually photographers and videographers, which is not actually the wrong thing to do. In fact, it's the right thing to do. They are doing very well at what they do. But then that key element of storytelling is the icing on the cake. Do you understand? So when we talk about a storyteller is someone who is able to form a narrative through the use of different elements within a scene in a creative way. So now, take for instance, someone walks into this place and then the person just looks at everyone here and the person did not know anyone in this room. And then the person walks in and then the person is trying to figure out, okay, is Raphael married to Ifoma? Is Ifoma the brother of David? Is David related to me in any way? I don't know whether you understand, or the other way around. Is David married to Ifoma? I, the brother-in-law to Ifoma. You now the direct sibling of Ifoma. I don't know whether you understand. So this person comes in here and based off of the elements that he has or she has to work with, now is able to craft a story. Do you understand? Is able to craft a story and then tell a story through the use of these elements in a creative way. So the person now is able to now come and just say that, okay, Raphael, sometime when he was in GSS2, he met with Ifoma and then somehow their love blossomed. They started as two young people who started crushing on each other, and then at the age of when they were in SS3, they decided to go to the same school together, and fast forward to when they got married. You understand? Now they have children. Now their children has children. Now the child is now the president of a country. I don't know whether you understand. So this is all the workings of somebody's mind. Remember, none of this ever happened. But then the storyteller is able to point out something through the use of the various elements that he has or she has to work with. Do you understand? And then the other side to storytelling is how you're able to tell a pre-existing narrative. That is a story that you yourself, you are not influencing, but then it's already in existence, it's already happening. But through your skilled professionalism in photography, videography, painting, or whatever it is that you do, you're able to now tell a narrative. This is where preserving memories now comes in. So you are able to now push a narrative that, okay, this particular thing happened in 1960s. And we can see that with like different movies that we have. You know, there are several movies that are based off of fiction. There are several movies that are based off of true life experiences. You understand? There are several movies that are based off of, what is it called? Fairy tale. It did not happen. Or the fantasy of what everybody wants to happen. All of these, they are the workings of the mind of a storyteller. It's in two different categories now. It is in you coining out a story as a storyteller, forming a narrative through the use of various elements, you understand? And then you are now able to use your skill as a storyteller to tell pre-existing stories or narratives that are not influenced by you. You understand? Which may or may not be influenced by you though. Because however you see a story, you're going to interpret it from the lens of your own experience. Do you understand what I'm saying? So someone walks into this place and I'm shouting at Ifoma, and then the person is like, why are they playing together? Because where they are from, how they talk with each other is in a violent way. They shout at each other, they laugh. Do you understand? They even beat or strike each other. Do you understand? And then it's totally fine. But then someone else walks into this place and the person is like, why would you talk to somebody in that particular manner? What? It was the same story that was happening all along. The same pre-existing story. Probably we're having a conflict or we're even joking. But then the joke to someone else that is used to that pattern of jokes is okay with it, and the person is like, these people, they are very jovial. And then someone else walks here and is like, why are they talking to each other like this? Do you understand that it's not right? So you as a storyteller, you must be skilled in these two aspects. That is telling stories or coining out narratives out of the various elements you have to deal with in a creative way. Also, telling pre-existing narratives or stories, whether influenced by your perspective or telling it as you see it. You know, some people, if they come here and they want to give a report of the number of people that are here, some people will say there were 5 people here, including the person. Do you understand? There are some people that will just say, okay, when I came in here, I met 4 people, which is correct. They are correct. Because if I'm telling from my own perspective and someone asks me how many people were there, you understand? You are asking me. So I don't expect to be a part of the number of people that I would say, okay, we're there. You understand? But someone else that feels like, okay, let me just be inclusive of everyone, they'll just say, oh, okay, we're 5 here. Do you understand my point? Yeah. Some people will even say we're 6 plus God the Father. Some people will say we're 9 or so. God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit, and everyone here. So your ability to move beyond just taking pictures, making videos, making a dress, now brings you up into being a storyteller, which most times is the icing on the cake. This is where a lot of creatives actually miss it, because trust me, whether you like it or not, remember we spoke about the mind the last time, yeah? Whether you like it or not, your mind is actually going to produce, is going to create. But then what it creates now is now dependent on what you feed it. So same thing with storytelling. Whatever you do, same thing with photography, videography, all types of creative art. Whatever you do is actually going to tell a story. It then depends on if you are able to be intentional about the story being told, or you just do whatever and then anybody can make any story out of whatever it is. This is one part that a lot of people actually miss out on. Take for instance, for a fashion designer, making an outfit on its own is a statement, is a story. Do you understand? Take for instance, any of this, give me a luxury brand. Christian Louboutin, Prada. Who else? Who else? Fenty, Yeezy. You understand? Like, I'm looking for an outfit brand now. Give me one. Gucci, yeah. So any of these brands, let's take one of them for instance, Adidas. What is the story Adidas tell?
I mean, this is me not thinking too far right now. So I'll say the story they tell is the story of comfort, being smart, as in smart work and all of. Yes, I think that's.
Oh yeah, give it to David. What story does Adidas tell?
Okay, so Adidas tell is like beat sports. Yes, comfort, beat sports.
Sports.
Yes,
okay.
so when you see
Being
sports,
sporty.
yes.
Okay. Rafa.
I feel like they try to let people know that they can go into fashion and styles and what you can create with your mind. Despite no matter how it is, it still makes sense, no matter how you think about it.
Okay.
So
Can you be more specific?
Like they just want to make people understand that
Adidas is the case study here.
yes, I feel like they just want to
What does Adidas make?
they make shoes for sport.
Okay, they make yes.
Yeah, they just want to like feel like their quality is different from anyone else.
Okay.
Just want to make sure people should see this part of if you're using our thing means you're using it because it has more quality than anything.
Okay. So now they communicate what? First of all, you said comfort, then you being smart, then you said ease,
Comfort and sports.
comfort and sports.
Yes.
Then you now said quality. So now in all of these things that we just mentioned, I hope you know it's all a story. Because somebody that walks into a place now, let me just connect all of the things that you guys just said now. You said comfort and smart. So now let me just tell a story. A lovely lady I met was looking quite comfortable in her Adidas shoe and activewear. And then we were just speaking about how she looks, and then she told me that she actually plays tennis. And in what she was saying, I could just sense a bit of class in everything because there was this level of high standard and high quality personality that she just had. I hope you know I've been able to tell a story out of everything you guys said because I was able to tell a story of the comfort and being smart. If somebody is wearing an activewear, that means the person is a smart person and sporty. The person plays tennis. The way the person now speaks, it now resonates like high quality, a sense of high fashion. So now, in everything that you guys mentioned, and this was coming from different people, your brains are not the same. You understand? So the brand Adidas was able to coin out this story from their products. Now, if we were to take Gucci again, if I were to ask everyone again, everyone is going to have a different aspect to Gucci. Some would say classy. You understand? Some would say sophisticated. Some would say very, very arrogant. Yes. Some would say upper class. Some would say flashy. Do you understand? Some people will say too much because the Gucci brand is actually a bold brand. Even with their logo and everything, it's a bold brand. So now, just imagine all of these things, and then you will now see the story that the brands themselves, they are actually trying to pull. But now, it is us creatives now that feel like we are just making dresses. That you're just a fashion designer walking out of the garage of your house, and then what you make is not actually telling a story. But then, who has ever seen a Vicky James dress? Poise. You understand? Style. Elite. Excellence. This is just what one person is doing. You understand? I hope you know they don't make different stuff. Their niche is within all of this that I just spoke about. The quality, the style, the poise, the elegance. So now, when we're talking about Vicky James, we're not talking too far away from all of this. But then, when we're talking about comfort now, we don't talk about Vicky James in comfort, because when Vicky James is not comfort, it's actually like high fashion. Beauty is pain. You understand? You would have to have a slim waist to actually wear those dresses and wear them right. Do you understand? But it's actually a good message. But then for the person that wants to tell the story of comfort, you either go to like the likes of, I think, Cladini. Yes, she makes this easy boo-boo gowns. Do you understand? Like there are other people who make like this ready to wear. You just put them on and you are ready to go. So now these are different stories from different people, and no one is wrong. I hope you know. The person that is doing the whole comfort thing, that is making boo-boos, that is making outfits, that I hope you know that there are some people, some fashion designers, that they just make their outfits very simple to wear. You understand? Whereas there are some people who they make their outfits very complicated, that you even have to hire their service to come and dress you up on their wedding day. I don't know whether you understand. Like, you have to hire their styling services. None of this is wrong. All of them, they are actually making an impact in the way they do, because not everyone wants to wear a corset dress. Not everyone wants to wear a boo-boo gown. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it now depends on the particular story, the intentionality to which you want to tell a story. You understand? How many of you know that even the maker or the owner of Vicky James, even Vicky James, I hope you know she still wears boob. Do you understand what I'm saying? Does that mean she's not aligning to the story or to the niche of the brand? No, that's not what it means. At every point in time, what she's just trying to tell you is that at every point in time, you cannot always wear a Vicky James dress, because you cannot wear it to a restaurant to go and eat. Take for instance, you really want to eat out. You can't wear it to go and eat, like eat. You only wear it to, like, you look good, you go for an event, you come back and then you take it off. And it's just something that will just sit in your wardrobe and you just look at. It's a very good story. But then there's also the part of someone who makes comfort dresses. So there's also that story. But then if you ask an average fashion designer, that what story are you trying to pass? He say, I'm just trying to make clothes. That's all. There's no intentionality to which you actually create. And that is what is mostly lacking in this day and age. So most people, they just create. And if you watch, that is what is even going on, like, in the whole creative space. Like, take for instance, if you're a writer, if you're a graphic designer, if we even ask you what type of graphic design do you enjoy doing? Like, what is the story that, if they put all of your designs together, is there one central story that will be able to just pick out from all of this? Some people have been able to build themselves to that point when you just see their work and then you're just like, no, this is what this person is about. Do you understand? Take for instance, for the likes of, I don't know if you know Big H. You understand? When he shoots it, as though he's using almost all the elements and he does it effortlessly. Whereas if you see the likes of who would I use now? You see the likes of Bedge. They keep it quite simple. They don't use so much elements to play with. You understand? They mostly even shoot natural light. So none of this is wrong. You just have to understand the kind of stories you want to tell. Take for instance, for Big H, he tells the fine art story so well. With weddings, he tells that fine art story. So that's when you see his pictures, you see that he uses elements like flowers, like smoke, like all of those things. Do you understand? Different fabrics everywhere. But then when you see the likes of Bed, you see him, he's telling like more or less like the vintage love story when we did not have so much. You understand? He's telling that very simple story with very great meaning. So when you look at these two people, they are not telling the wrong thing. But the problem now with creatives now that are coming up is that we just make stuff and there's no intentionality to which we make stuff. If I were to ask you now, what story were you trying to tell when you made this dress? Comfort. Do you understand? Just easy to sleep on. Like, you can slip it on and you can take it for a conference, you can take it to church, you can take it to a date, you can take it almost everywhere. You understand? But then if you came in here and you wore a corset dress, it then limits what you can do. The point I'm trying to drive at is that as creatives, we actually have to put intentionality into whatever we do. You understand? There's a certain level of intention, and just like we spoke about this dress, it's for comfort. If you were wearing a corset, there's a limit to where you can wear a corset. Take for instance, you can't wear a corset dress to go and play sports, but then with the simple gown that you're putting on right now, you can actually go and play sport and it's totally fine. It will not be weird. You understand? But imagine, even with a corset, you can't even bend very well. So I want you to just understand that there's a certain intentionality that we as creatives actually have to have. You understand? So, and one of the points I want you to notice that this happens over time. You don't actually figure out where you are going from the moment you take the first step. As you go, you continue to figure out where you're going to, and it helps more with intentionality. But what I'm just like, the point I'm trying to drive at is that even before you start on that journey, you can decide that this is what I want to do. You understand? And be intentional towards that. And it might be in the simple things. I hope you know the brand Nike or Adidas or any of these big brands, they may have not started with all of the stories and the intentionalities that they have right now. Do you understand? All the branding, everything you know Adidas and Nike to be, they might not have started with all of those little all of those details, you understand? But then as they continued to progress, they kept on adding to the branding, you understand? They kept on like rebranding, they kept on like reinventing themselves till they are what they are now. And trust me, there's a team somewhere inside of the head office of Adidas, of Nike, that is currently doing research and developing new ways to reinvent themselves to be able to cope with the future. I don't know whether you understand my point. So what I'm just saying now is, what the point I'm driving at is actually just be intentional towards what you want to create. Take for instance, as a photographer, you can tell yourself that whatever I do, I don't actually want to be on just this photography level that is just shooting very good pictures and that is it. I actually want to transit beyond just shooting pictures and then move beyond that into storytelling. That is, when people see my pictures, they should be able to feel maybe a sense of being calm. When people see my pictures, they should be able to tell a sense of being comforted. They should be able to tell a sense of being uneasy. Who has seen that kind of photography before? The way they shoot, you first be dizzy when you see their pictures. Like, it's almost as though they are making you confused. That's the satisfaction that what they represent. Who has seen an art like that? Who has seen an art that the art was made and the art was turned upside down? Do you understand? Maybe a human was painted and the human was turned upside down. So those kind of arts now, they are very technical. So they make you think, and the moment you see that kind of art, your brain is already puzzled. You already have a puzzle in your head to solve. What is this that I am seeing? It looks like a human, but it's not regular. So then you now start looking at it, your brain will now start putting the puzzles together. You now start looking, okay, where's the hand, where's the head, oh, it was turned upside down. I don't know whether, have you seen those kind of arts before? Have you seen the kind of writers that they will write a particular story, they will start from the middle and go to the beginning, and then from the beginning they jump to the end? You've seen that kind of, even in movies, you've seen it. They start from the middle. That is, they start from the middle of somebody getting married. Then they move to the beginning where the father of the person that was getting married did something. Do you understand? Then they now jump right to the end. There are some people who that is the kind of stories that they specialize in telling. If you look at Disney now, what kind of stories do they tell? Fairy tale, happy ending. Do you understand? It's always a villain and a princess, you understand? And then in the end, either the princess or the prince still overcomes the villain. But then they just know that this is the story. They are majorly serving kids and teens. You understand? So they kind of like figured that out. So ask yourself today, for the audience I am serving, what is the actual impact? What is the actual story that I want my brand to pass to them? What do I want to tell them? So this is one of the questions that I ask myself, like every time I want to make an image or a video. I tell myself that this particular picture, this particular video has to embody everything that Belac as a person is. Do you understand? So now, when you see all of those pictures that has different lights and that are very colorful, you understand? So I use very bold colors when lighting. Red, I use blue, you understand? I use different colors to light, very hard shadows, hard lighting. Do you understand? When I use all of those things, you then know that this is someone trying to pass a message of mystery. You are trying to pass the story of mystery. You want to tell the story, but you don't want to tell the complete story. You want to withhold a certain part. And if you watch, that's how most of the pictures look. Take for instance the picture with Yuki. Yes. It only told the story of every other thing except of her nose and her mouth. You understand? Those were out of the story. So it just made the story about the eyes and the body and the heart. So when I want to tell a particular story, now what am I looking at to do? I already know what I want to do. So even if I were to shoot like maybe 10, 15 models, I would shoot in line with that, because that is actually the message the brand is actually trying to pass. If you look at the wedding side, I hope you know the wedding side still has that whole mysterious vibe, because we can shoot all the pictures bright, but then there'll just be this one image that you cannot fully understand about it. It's just mysterious. Maybe a couple walking into the shadows or something. There's just something there. So always ask yourself, like, what is that story? What is that story? What is that brand message I'm trying to pass? So if you make clothes, when you wear my clothes, how do I want people to feel? How do I want the people that look at those people wearing the clothes to feel? Do you understand? In deciding all of those things, you then understand that this is the intentionality to which I want to be creating. I hope you know there are certain people that they don't send out their outfits without a certain mark on it. Who has seen it? Take for instance, the outfit you're wearing has a bow on it somewhere. I hope you know there are certain brands that all their outfits has a bow somewhere. You know some brands that all their outfits has a collar. All their outfits has something. For the Nike brand, you will discover that there's always that mark.
A tick
mark.
A tick mark, yes.
Okay, tick sign.
Yes.
So that tick sign on a Nike shoe is always there.
Yes.
And whether or not you like it, that has an effect if you think about it on people. Because growing up, that tick sign always signified you did something right.
Yes. You're good to go.
You're good to go. That tick sign is the same sign that was used whenever you submitted an assignment and they were to mark your assignment. So that particular sign, just as it is already communicating the message of you making a right buying decision. Do you understand my point? You already feel good about yourself even before anything. So take for instance, if someone comes to you and just tells you that, why does everyone that wears Nike, why are they so proud? Why do they feel like they're on top of the world? It's a silent message that the brand actually passed to the audience, even without you knowing. And then it puts that tick sign there, and then you already feel like, oh, this is good to go. You understand? And then what is their slogan? Just do it.
Yes, just
Just do it, right? So, like, it's almost as though everything that they are saying, both with the tick sign, is you're good to go. But then, has Nike ever come to meet you and told you that you're good to go? I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. So it's very important for you to discover the path in which you want to go to. And trust me, it may not have started from there, but it just started with the thoughts of what we want to do. Do you understand? Where they are now, you know how many rebranding and reinventing they've had to do. You understand? But then, it just started with someone who thought about it, that let's make something that is about comfort, maybe a comfortable shoe, and then that particular shoe is now going to communicate the message of someone that is ready to go, good to go, someone that can do anything, someone that can just do it. Do you understand my point? So when you see Monster, the drink Monster, what do you think about? Energy. You understand? When you see the logo or the design of Monster that has like the thunder sign, it's more or less like a thunder sign, right? So when like a recharge sign. So when you see all of those things, has Monster ever come to meet you and told you that this particular drink is going to make you feel on top of the world? Have they come to? No. But with everything that the brand represents, I think Monster first started, it has an element of green color on it.
Yes.
And what does green signify? Life, growth. Do you understand what I'm saying? So all of this here is very, very important for you to understand it. I hope you know there are certain people who make dresses and they only make it in color black.
Yes.
They only make it in color, like they only make it in black color, and you will just wonder, like, why do these people not make anything aside black? But you will just discover that the story that they are trying to tell is a story of sophistication, excellence, like just being the 1% of the 1%, like luxury. Class doesn't shout. It doesn't have too many colors on it. So the question I want to ask you today, what is that story that you want to tell with your brand? What is the story that you want to tell as a person? If you're able to devise that story, it will take you very far in your creative process. You will then remove all the other options of what you shouldn't be creating, and then you already know what you want to make. Do you understand? So in doing this, you then understand that if you are deviating from that particular story that you spoke about, you can easily identify it. Instead of when you're missing the brand story that you're trying to tell, and then you're deviating into something else, and you don't even know that I'm deviating. Because that is one of the issues that we have now. Now we have everybody that wants to do everything. But then the funny thing about everything, it will take you a long time to master everything. But then if you pick one thing and you are the master of one thing, you will discover that people would look for you, and then you will solve the problem of that one thing. In the end, after mastering that one thing, you can then diversify to adding more things. So now you are the master of one already, and you are mastering another, and after mastering the second, you can master the third and the fourth and the fifth. Do you understand? We've seen brands do that. We've seen drink brands now that are now making like mesh, like clothes. They are making
Adidas.
Yes, they are making clothes.
Adidas and Nike from shoe, sport shoe, went straight to before you start making jerseys.
They started making jerseys. From shoes, they started making jerseys. From jerseys, sweatpants. Do you understand?
Hoodies. So, but started from
It started from footwear
for sports.
For sports.
Originally.
But if they had set out and then they just said, okay, we want to do everything. Now we are Adidas, we want to make clothes, we want to make drinks, we want to make food, we want to make everything. I hope you know there may be some time in the future that Adidas or Nike, they may decide to translate this their message of feel good, good to go into a drink, and you will buy it.
Yes.
Do you understand my point? The brand Apple started first from what? Was it a phone or a computer? It started first from a computer, then there was a phone. No. From a computer, then to an iPod,
Yeah.
from an iPod to a phone to an iPad to what is this? AirPod, smartwatch, all of these things. You understand?
TV, speaker.
Apple TV, do you understand? All of those things. Now, headset. Now, tomorrow, if they come and then they tell you that, okay, there's a particular shirt that you can wear, that this shirt will eliminate the need for you to wear your AirPod. And then there's a speaker that is just beside, maybe it's an active wear. And the active wear has a collar. And the collar on some part of the collar here is a very good speaker that will give you the same sound quality or even more sound quality than your AirPod will give you. I hope you know that people buy it. Do you understand what I'm saying? But what was the first strategy of Apple as a brand? They first started with the computer. They made sure that the computer was good to go. You understand? They made sure that they mastered that, and then they moved on to the iPod, they moved on to the phone, they moved on to the iPad, and you can see. But what many creatives just step out to do is that I want to be a photographer, a videographer. If they ask you what you do, you say I'm a photographer, I'm a videographer, I'm a content creator. On the weekends, I make dresses. On Sundays, I make designs for my church. On Mondays, I used to direct movies. I don't know whether you understand my point. So, like, we just have people doing a lot of stuff, but then not actively just telling themselves, okay, what story do I want to tell? How best do I tell this story in a particular way first before diversifying? This is one real truth that not a lot of people will tell you. If you look at the likes of every successful person, they started from a particular part, mastered it, diversified, mastered that, diversified, mastered that, diversified. When big names, when they talk about diversification, they don't diversify into 5 things at once. So that's why it just come. They'll tell you the likes of Dangote is diversifying into oil industry. So he started from cement, then he entered food, then he entered oil. You understand? And then from oil, he may probably enter this sustainable energy. He might enter. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying. So take for instance the likes of Tony Elumelu. Started first from someone in UBA. Yes. I think maybe the owner of UBA. Yes. Or yes. He works with UBA. You understand? So from that now we know the Tony Elumelu Foundation. We know some other stuff that he's doing. Do you understand? We know like he does some other things. So, but then he was able to make all of this. Someone I personally like, Dr. Cosmos Maduka of Costaris, started first with selling parts of motorcycles, Now, after selling parts of motorcycle, diversified into selling parts of cars, diversified into selling, selling cars, diversified into health, agriculture, all of those things. But did he start out when he was selling the motorcycle parts? Did he start, I'm selling this motorcycle parts in the evening, I'm going to go to the farm because I want to build an agricultural company out of these two, and then I'll now do this. And don't get me wrong, it's very good to have an ambition or to have ambitions, but then it is very important for you to note that if you choose to do everything, it will take you more time to master. It's not impossible. Remember, it's possible for you to be jack of all trades, but then it will take you to master all of them. Do you understand? And it will just take you longer time. So all of your goals, they are like half done, and then you're not really making any significant progress with anyone. Do you understand my point? So this is what this class is about. Intentionality. You have to be intentional about what you want to create. What message do you want to pass to your audience? What story do you want to tell? As you are, as a person, as a brand owner, do you think that the message you are trying to tell would resonate with the audience you're trying to tell that message? Because trust me, if you have the message of Gucci and Louis Vuitton and
Vicky James.
Yeah, Vicky James and Prada, yes. So if you have all of those people and then you're trying to tell it to an audience that can only patronize, or to a low class audience, low social class audience, I hope you know you're not doing yourself the right. Yeah, you're not doing right by yourself and by your business. So it's actually defining who you are creating for, and then know the kind of stories that will resonate with them. Take for instance, as a movie producer, there's no need for you to go and tell the story of heartbreak to children. Do you understand? As a writer, there's no need. You are writing and you said the books, your target audience are kids, and you're writing about sex. You are writing for the wrong audience. Do you understand my point? So figure out the people you want to tell a story to and tell the right story with intentionality. Thank you so much for staying to the end. And if you would like to be a part of this academy, so there's a link in the description below. Hit the link to register. Also support us by liking this video, sharing and subscribing to this channel. Thank you, and we will see you in the next one.